Hayes, ladies and
Got it.
gentlemen. Henry Hayes. How are we, my friend?
Faraj, I'm good. Look at you. God, you look dapper.
We
Sunday
don't
best of all.
we show up every week. Well, hopefully we'll be every single day a week, and I can actually like live out my investment banking suit dreams.
Yeah, nice. I've gone for an M&S job here.
That's okay.
Um,
We love a good
yeah,
M&S. Sometimes they do
yeah.
well. More recently with the England football squad, they've been doing incredibly well with their fits.
And with Marks and Spencer. Mark Wright, Spencer Matthews. I'm interviewing Spencer tomorrow, so there we are.
Oh, really?
That's why I went
Is
to
that what is that
M&S.
how that one Oh, I get it now. That actually
Yeah,
makes a
no,
lot
they
of
did it. They
sense.
did a really good ad of those two. And it kind of popped, obviously, Mark and Spencer. And I think they've even got their own Instagram account of Mark and Spencer for M&S. It's brilliant. But there we are. We digress. How are you, Varaj? Are you
That
sort
is
of eight in, seven in today, six
I'm
in?
6 in, you're the 7th. We've got a shorter docket today. It's like only 10 people. Last week was about, I think it was 13.
Right, fair.
But we love to see
Nice.
it. Henry, can for those that don't have context and have possibly living
Mm,
not chronically online like both you and myself, who are you?
yeah. Great. Yeah. Hi, everyone. I am Henry Hayes. I'm the head of marketing here at Passionfruit. We are a freelance marketing platform that places in the very best specialists, marketing specialists into loads of businesses. So AB InBev, PepsiCo, Mars, HSBC, as well as sort of Series A and above scale ups and mid-market businesses. Intro to me, really, I have been in sort of the marketing and sales world for the last 8 years, very much on the consumer side. And as of 2 years ago, or coming up to 2 years ago, Rafi Salama, who's been on your show before, the co-founder of Passionfruit, just found me on TikTok and said, you know how you do these silly TikToks, can you run events for us? And I was like, well, I've never run an event before, but I'll give it a go. So that's there. And now we've got a great team. Eleanor, part of our team, who runs this. We've got a great incoming new starter in Jenna, who's going to be heading up our events. And I get to do loads of cool content, really, on LinkedIn. And aside from that, I also do Instagram and TikTok comedy. People may know me from Henry Hayes Comedy, which is my handle on Insta and TikTok.
I want to start with a comedy, and then we're going to gravitate
Yeah.
into like the working world of Henry Hayes and how all of this comes
Yeah.
into fruition. Like, why comedy to begin with? Like, how did you put your hand to this craft? Like, why did you become like an online comedian, or has stand up been like you're an OG of the game?
Yeah, it's a good place to start. I think, look, I've always loved dressing up. I dressed up in drag as a 6-year-old in front of my mum and dad, so why
Love
not?
it.
And then I did a lot of performing at school, went to university, didn't really do anything. And I think, to be honest, I kind of was in business, or albeit the startup world, and kind of found myself quite lost, to be honest. I was trying to be a bit too corporate, a bit too businessy, and I wasn't really playing to my strengths. And it was actually, I used to work at a really great e-bike business called Fully Charged. They're doing really good work. It's an e-bike retailer, probably the best well-known one in the UK. But there was a massive sort of growth spurt in COVID because of bikes, and then there was a massive drop. And I just found myself not really kind of fulfilling my potential, I suppose. And my mates told me that I should give comedy a go. And I just thought, well, you know what? I think I'm okay at making people laugh. I was a bit of a performing monkey at parties. And social media is free, isn't it? So I just thought, I'd give it a go. And it's kind of come into place since then. Obviously, there's ups and downs in the online world, and you learn a lot from it. But that's kind of how I got into comedy, I suppose. I've always loved comedy. I want to make it really clear. Like, I love all the great shows that people love. I'm really into stand-ups.
Who's on the list of like top 3
Okay.
comics? Because I've
Well,
played in the comedy scene for a little bit. It's
yes, you
not
have.
well versed. I'm behind the
Yeah.
camera, not in front. I'll leave that for my friends. But like, tell
Sure.
us who's on the who's top 3 for you?
Okay, so I would say from a stand-up perspective, a person called John Tothill did really well at Edinburgh Fringe this year. Ayawade Bangboe, who was the newcomer at the Fringe. So I like the niche stuff. There's obviously your big dogs. I've always loved Peter Kay, just from an observational standpoint. Ricky Gervais's earlier work I absolutely love. But then from a show standpoint, I actually talk about this in some pods that I go on. But Eastbound and Down. If anyone hasn't seen Eastbound and Down,
Interesting.
they must watch it. Danny McBride, Will Ferrell. It's on HBO, where all of the good stuff is. But check that out. 25-minute episodes. It's just brilliant.
I was a Comedy Central fan growing up, so like just
Yes.
all of those comics were my favorite. Obviously, there's the greats, but Dave Chappelle. I've been watching that guy for like forever, and my good friend Musin was like, dude, you have to just binge watch this guy. So Chappelle for me is the GOAT. And I
Nice.
sort of like bring everything. Kevin Hart, obviously, as he's coming
Yes,
to
Kevin Hart.
like
Yeah.
pre-movies, that was a lot of fun.
Yeah, Larry David for me is a big one. Curb Your
Oh God,
Enthusiasm. Yeah,
Larry
yeah,
David, when I got put on that, are you kidding? I didn't
yeah,
understand it because my humor does not go that way. It's an
yeah, yeah,
acquired taste to begin with, and then you sort of like you understand what's going on
yeah.
here.
That's great. And Keenan and Peele as well. They're fantastic.
Oh
But anyway,
man, I think different class, right? Like
yeah.
those guys have built an empire off of just those skits.
There's brilliant sketches actually. Like the amount of production value that goes into 2 minutes there. I think that's what I really like. And I think just on that comedy thing, I think that was my main sort of niche that I wanted to bring in was like attention to detail, not just having a green screen behind me, but really going out into the wild, dressing up in certain characters, not just being, I don't know, a TikTok comedian in a
But you
park.
do that really well with the marketing skits, right? Like from the comedy channel and like these marketeers or these different people throughout the ages. What is the one that you did? I think it was like the 90s marketer or like, or what is it? The Mad Men style one where you're in a coffee shop.
Marketer. Yeah, brand legacy one. Yeah, I mean, I think, and then like going into the stuff that people probably know me better for on LinkedIn, bearing in mind it's a very small platform, but like The Bear and Pride and Prejudice and some of the music videos.
Can I ask, where does that come from? These like they're so outrageously over the top for something like LinkedIn. Where does the inspiration for something like that start?
If I'm being honest, like, you know, Instagram and TikTok, there's a wash of thousands of people like myself all trying to climb to the very high and top level of being a great sort of online comedy content creator, comedian, stuff like that. On LinkedIn, there's really not as many. There's some really great people doing some really great work. The OGs like Rob Mayhew, people at Dapper, but there isn't as much. And so I thought, actually, you know, at the start of the year when Rafi told me to do it, I was initially a bit like, I don't know, I'll just try and copy what I was doing on Instagram and TikTok.
Is it that or not?
It is, but I think what you really need to have to understand is actually just a really good base level understanding of marketing and LinkedIn, if I'm being honest. Now, luckily, all of us, and well, maybe a few people on this who are watching aren't, but probably the primary amount of people are, we all understand LinkedIn. We get LinkedIn, be it in whatever vertical you're in, you're always on there. You've always got a tab of LinkedIn open. And then it just clocked. I was like, well, hang on a second. People kind of feel bad when they're on Instagram and TikTok.
But you don't feel bad when you're on LinkedIn because it's work.
You don't, because there's a business perk of it. You know, you're actually driving yourself and your business forward by being on LinkedIn. A lot of people don't know that yet, but like the personal brand thing, you can really get a lot from it. And I think that's where it started for me on LinkedIn. Is doing it in that D2C mindset that I was doing on Instagram and TikTok, but putting it in LinkedIn, aka not just being at my desk doing content, but being out and about and doing things in particular ways. So yeah.
What advice do you have for these people that are like thinking about doing this stuff? Because I am sure on LinkedIn there are people trying to create, and you do it so prolifically well. I'll give you flowers where flowers are due. And like when you see the curve of it changing as you know, AI comes into play, as people just keep writing copy. LinkedIn loves a good copy post, and I don't know why. And you look at it and you go, how do I keep innovating on my craft? Obviously, at Passionfruit, you've got the Netflix series coming out. You've got all of the skits in Henry Hayes, and you have the sort of, is it the soundtracks now?
The music videos.
You're building like this world almost. Like, is that how you're thinking about LinkedIn?
Yeah, it is, to be honest. I mean, I think the way I started is you know, we work with some great freelancers, and I've got a creative strategist that help. Like, exactly. And they're always sort of my ideas and my ideations, but this individual or individuals that are around really understand LinkedIn or Reddit or whatever you're trying to push. So my first thing would be like, don't necessarily think about the format, the style. It doesn't necessarily need to be video to begin with. You know, if your strength is writing, keep it to writing. And LinkedIn actually is really good. As we know, you get more impressions out of static stuff than you do out of video. So that would be number one. I would say on the actual ideations of the videos, it always rings true, and it rings true. It's so simple. Just write about what you know. Like I always use Dido. We did a Dido music video about not getting any leads. You know, my leads have gone cold. I'm wondering why. I got no inbound at all. And the reason why that came about was because I really liked the music video of Eminem and Stan. And I thought, actually, Stan is trying to emulate Eminem, right? Now, what if I'm the head of marketing and I'm trying to emulate my boss, Rafi, and trying to be like him? And I actually went over budget in May by like a small amount, but I felt really bad about it. And I just thought it'd be really funny if I got that line in. So that's kind of how it started. Was like Eminem Stan, me, and Rafi sometimes wears an orange shirt, and I've got the same orange shirt in. And I just thought that's really funny as a starting point. So write about what you know in an office context, but applying a really great track or a really great well-known film. The niche of the film or the track, the less likely it's going to pull off, is what I'm learning here. Like, you really have to think big on that, but then
So
go
Wonderwall type
detail
vibes.
scene or a particular thing that's really well known. And often I'll go on YouTube and just check how many hundreds of thousands of views a particular scene has got. As a starting point.
And then from that, you sort of build off and do Henry Hayes, the person and the comedy on LinkedIn. And then also behind the scenes, obviously, as we mentioned, the Netflix series. How are those two things like coming into this world building that you're doing?
Yeah, well, I think obviously if we're talking about like a halo effect or a flywheel, you know, we want to ensure that you've got the big brand awareness stuff at the very top that doesn't really mention anything to do with Passionfruit. Our events that are all underlined under this. So everyone's getting invited, or our ICP, marketing directors, CMOs, heads of marketing, are all kind of getting invited to these events. But if you have like big brand awareness content that can hit any marketer, we're really fortunate because ultimately our TAM is just marketers, right? So we're really lucky there. But if you have that, and then the Building Passionfruit series, which is now out actually, and it's on our LinkedIn pages, and you can like see it. And we're probably going to put it on YouTube next year. And that was more about like when people get further down the funnel and they maybe like connect with Passionfruit, the page, or they talk to one of our client leads, they'll then start seeing this like this content around us as personalities, normal personalities, just building something in public. And this has been massive in consumer. You see it the whole time, don't you? Like a consumer sneaker brand or a consumer earphones brand or whatever, like you're wearing now. You see people building on YouTube or vlogging. You don't really see it on LinkedIn that much. There's a really great agency called the Goat Agency that do it really well.
Oh, God, I've been trying to get the guys on a Goat for like years.
Yeah, they're great. They're great. And Yonder, Series B credit card company, I know Louise Mill, shout out, you know, she does a really good job on vlogging that. But I just thought that would be cool, but also doing it in a Drive to Survive style. So it like feels a bit more dramatic and ultimately shows actually the great breadth of work that we're doing here at Passionfruit. You know, we're flying all over the job. We're literally going to America. We've got a tech team in Portugal. We're going to Europe the whole time. We've now got a team based in America. So showing the breadth of what we're doing so that people validate who we are, I suppose. Yeah.
Clear. All right. That gives me some context. And how does that play in? Because people just, I assume, think you just live chronically online and don't do any work. And we both know, because we've both played in the marketing space a little bit, you more than me. My time there was an absolute failure. But they treat it like it's a cost to everything and it doesn't drive sales. In your eyes, is what you're doing actually getting people in the door, having conversations or MQLs?
Yeah, I mean, 100%. It's
why? Like, why does that work?
Well, I think in a B2B space, people want to work with people.
Yeah.
So number one, you know, they don't necessarily want to be slammed with a product demo or some sort of newsletter necessarily, or some sort of form for them to understand more. They want value. And in my case, which I'm quite fortunate, I suppose, there's this entertainment value. And with Eleanor, with the great work that Eleanor is doing just time and time again, you know, we're able to provide value. Now, the results are quite mad. If I was to just use one, I put a post about this today, actually. You know, we did the Pride and Prejudice sketch only 2 weeks ago. Bearing in mind our sales cycle 1 to 3 months long. Out of the 2,000 people who've liked it, slight vanity metric there, but 2,000 people have liked it, which is obviously really big on LinkedIn. 156 people are ICP, CMOs, marketing directors, heads of marketing at big businesses that we've worked with. 70% of those people connected with me on LinkedIn.
Like physically connected.
Physically connected off the back of the video, because they're like, oh, and we'll come onto the process here of like how I do this, because this is the hard work. But they connected with me off that. And we've already had 5 marketing qualified leads off of it. AKA inside of 2 weeks, these busy heads of marketings I've already been able to get them on a call with a client lead. And our marketing qualified lead delineation is quite strong. So it has to be a key decision maker who wants to work with Passionfruit on a freelance requirement inside of the next 3 months.
Right.
So it's almost like an SQL, if I'm being honest. But and on top of that, an average order deal size is about £5.5 grand at Passionfruit. Now that video cost us 500 quid to make, 187 quid for the costumes. So, and the reason why is we've got a retainer with the guy that we work with, a freelance retainer. So he puts out a lot of stuff. So we just divvied out how much time that was proportionate to that as against other stuff. There's a ROI of 15-1.
Yep.
Cost per acquisition is something mad, like 687 quid or something. So like 687 quid to put it on for 5 marketing qualified leads. We know that 38% of marketing qualified leads become a customer. So we've already acquired 1.9 customers out of it.
And we're only 2 weeks in to that video being live.
Yeah.
And so total off the video, I think it was, I was doing research for the show. There's like all in about 5 posts about the Pride and Prejudice, right? Yours, Eleanor's, I think the company posted one as well. 5 posts that took no more than 6 hours in all in?
Yeah, it took 4 hours and 30 minutes.
4 hours and 30 minutes to film?
I've got the current CAC here. The current CAC on that video, cost per acquisition, for anyone who isn't a marketing business, CAC's one of the funniest lines in the world. Is £361, okay, to acquire that customer.
That's nuts. And it will live in perpetuity.
Yeah, and that's only inside of 2 weeks. That's only on my page. So Eleanor also posted it, and Passionfruit posted it, but I haven't actually tracked that yet because, quite frankly, at the moment with 2 of us, we're just on to the next videos. And what I'm realizing is, in time, we'll track them a lot better. But as a Series A startup, it's just about building more noise all of the time, which is why you're continually seeing my chuffing face. And if you hate my face, I'm really sorry, but you're just going to have to deal with it for the next 2 months until we get maybe down the line when it becomes more Series B, when we start properly attributing more stuff and start maybe doing bigger and better videos, but maybe not as frequent.
I want to ask then, like, is there a mandate at Passionfruit to consistently post? One of the things I've noticed about like Diary of a CEO and Flight is quite literally everyone makes noise. And like a lot of it is value add, don't get me wrong. Some of it is people posting about their lives. It's part of the game. Do you mandate that Passionfruit? Like people should post? How did you tee it up? Do you give them content? Or is it just innately known that, this is how we do business here?
Well, number one, no one is under any duress to put out content that they don't want. Quite a lot of people in our team don't put out content. They don't feel that comfortable with it, and that's so chill. That's absolutely fine. You get a lot of noise from the likes of myself, Noah, who kind of looks after a lot of like B2B sassy
and a slightly different tack, I've noticed.
Exactly, yeah, not comedy led, just more knowledge based. Obviously, Rafi puts out a lot of thought leadership. Jess, our head of HR, because what we're realizing now is it's not just like a good lever for prospects and leads. It's actually really good for talent density as well. So bringing in really good talent into Passionfruit. So Jess has done a fantastic job on that. But it's not, obviously, people can get scared about what to push out. And like I always say, just push out what you kind of want to push out, you know. Like Eleanor really likes sketching and drawing. Push out some sketches and drawings. Like, you know, LinkedIn's becoming a very open platform now for anyone who just lives a professional life, who works in the professional life, to just post about what they get up to. And it just so happens that because we're a B2B business that is selling into businesses, it's a good platform for that. But yeah, by no means do people have to post, but it's, you know, it is encouraged, I suppose.
I get it. And then how does that translate to the page itself? So as I understand, you've also got a series that sits on the company page. And for most people most people don't even get what's happening here, but there is like a world that's being built around Passionfruit from a thought leadership perspective of like expert content, yours, Noah's, Eleanor's, who else is on the docket? Like your HR, is it Jess?
Yeah, Jess.
And then who's head of sales? Adam,
tech sales bro.
Tech sales bro, right? Like the arms are wham. That man is in the gym. How do you think about that? Like all of that together? Because there are overlapping storylines within it all. And it seems like you are building a world within all of this. And then do you funnel that to the website? Do you funnel that to the page? Do you funnel that towards your own channels? How does that work? What's the thesis around that?
I think there's like a North Star for everyone, right? Like an internal North Star, a mission statement that everyone's trying to achieve. Mine is trying to become the world's #1 comedy marketer. I kind of had that realization about 3 months ago.
Yeah, have you not won? Have you not done that already?
No, not at all.
You're competing with Rory out here.
Yeah, exactly. I'm competing with, you know, Mayhew and loads of great people. But That's mine. Now, Adam's is I want to bring in the best people into the sales team at Passionfruit. Now, what's great about that is Adam is not saying, I want loads of businesses to work with us, because probably businesses may not like his salesy approach. But what he's gone is, I want the best people to work underneath me and my team. So that's good. Jess, similarly, she's got that from the whole company. I want to get across that Passionfruit is the best cultural, best, scale up from a cultural perspective. Rafi there, ultimately just saying, I want to show that I'm a great empathetic founder and leader of a business. So I think the moment that you have that, and overarching it is, let's go out and build the great disruptor to the typical agency model, it becomes a lot easier for people to understand. But I think everyone, just from a singularity perspective, if you go quite deliberately channeled into what you are specifically trying to do, then ultimately what will happen is you'll go up into that, and then you'll have quite a lot that you can then tackle after that, because you've gone quite narrow to begin with. The worst thing, I was posting on LinkedIn before I started at Passionfruit, and I didn't have a clue. I was like, God, I'm in marketing and there's just so many marketers here, and I'm just posting about, I don't know, a random thing I've seen. It won't work,
Do you think about posting today, or like posting online as winning share of mind? And you consistently want to win share of mind. So when people think content, people think marketing, they think Passionfruit.
Yeah, 100%.
And like, that's 100%. The game you're playing. It's like, how much can we fill the feed so that at any given point during the day, you're seeing us the moment that you up on it within a swipe.
Exactly that. And as well, because our ICPs are not on LinkedIn that much, they may be on 2 or 3 times a week, and maybe some people once a month. If they just see, they don't know that we're always posting, but if they log in, they'll go, oh, cool, Henry's just posted, or oh, cool, I don't know, Sophie Tapper, one of our clients, just posted, or whatever. And that will just go, these guys, I don't know, they're just, look, to your point, just trying to win my attention a bit, or they always seem like they're in the know, which is the main thing.
I think the mechanics of B2C that you've played out so well over the years has translated into quite a prolific LinkedIn quote unquote career and content. Like, do you see that dynamic as well? I've taken the best from attention on social and applied it to the context of business.
Yeah, you know what? I mean, I do think it's like quite alien that people are now speaking to me about this, because I just think that there's so much more to do. Number one, like, I'm at 12,000 followers. You're catching up with me, mate. Well done. But
for me, honestly, this is like I say this to people. It's like, I'm not in this game. I've been through the whole I know I've been recognized in the street now. It's done.
Oh, now, really?
Yeah. Now it's very much like I'm on a journey. Like, you are either coming on this rocket, or I'm just going to meet you somewhere along the way. It's fine by me. You can get on now, you can get on later. It's your choice.
Yeah. Nice. But yeah, I mean, like, so I'd say there's a lot more to come, but I think luckily for me, because outside of my day-to-day job, I live and breathe comedy. My wife sometimes gets very frustrated with me about it, because in a loving way, she supports me massively doing it. But I'm on Sunday, the whole of Sunday, 8:30 till 7 p.m. I was out filming what is going to be only 1:50, 2 minutes worth of content for Instagram and TikTok, 3 locations of that. But I think it's that love that I think, hopefully, fingers crossed, and maybe, you'd agree, like, people see that in me when I'm posting, they notice just how much I love it. So I think it definitely helps that I've got that outside consumer style going out there, and I'm in the socials a lot. Like, I've stopped going on Instagram and TikTok a lot. Like, I now go on to post. I may put up a story once every 3 days, but a year ago it was quite unhealthy. And that's luckily because of LinkedIn. I've just got this new North Star, like I said, and I really want to go down this route. Like, I think this is the route for me. It's not necessarily just being one of many on Instagram and TikTok. It's like I could be an N of one on LinkedIn, I suppose. Yeah.
What's next for Henry Hayes then? Like, what are we doing? More content, new formats?
Yeah. I think, to be honest, what's next is just ensuring that we've got the best marketing team at Passionfruit. We're really lucky. We've got a great new starter joining in January.
So it's just like just to confirm, right? It's you and Eleanor currently. Like, that's it. And you crank out that much.
Yeah, with 8
freelancers.
So there's 2 on ideation and execution on content. So Ian is a strategist, and Jack is a full stack videographer and editor. And then Eleanor has a whole team on events, which he's doing a fantastic job in. Eleanor 6 months.
What are the events? Tell me about that.
The events are 22 events per quarter, run in the US, in Canada, in Europe as well.
Sorry, hold on. Did I hear that right? 22?
22, yeah.
And these are like large scale events? These are like 100 people turning up?
No. They're highly curated, 10, 15, sometimes smaller, lovely breakfasts and dinners that have just the right
flavor to them.
level of people at it, CMOs, that sort of stuff. But they're done at, we shout about the Bear, and then you're going to have dinner at the Bear in Chicago, at the place where it's filmed, or the Devonshire in London, and they're bringing people together so that kind of you always get this like flywheel of content meets IRL. But essentially, where we want to go, where I want to go, is best team in marketing at Passionfruit, and we've got an incredible new product which I can't wait to talk to everyone about come October the 1st. That's coming out, which is a new marketing AI platform. But we'll leave Rafi maybe and other people to talk about that in the fullness of time. And there's going to be a lot of energy put into that. And really, it's just about building Passionfruit, making it better. We could be in a really, really great spot. Fingers crossed, we're growing at 12 to 13% month on month. And, with the new platform that's coming in, we could raise a really big Series B. And then that is like, it's then ours to lose, and I would kick myself if, in 5 or 6 years' time, I would just love to be able to write comedy and do comedy on my own. But I would kick myself if I'm out there doing all of this comedy outside of work when I've got this opportunity. So that is really my North Star, to be honest, Viraj. I've said North Star a lot, but there we are.
It's a little bit of a North Star episode. Henry, this has been an absolute pleasure. Masterclass in everything marketing and LinkedIn. We're going to have to get you back on. Like, we can have a vibe check at some point. This has been a pleasure. Cool. I'll see you soon.
Great. Thanks, Viraj. All the best, mate.
Ciao, ciao. That was Henry.